Morning, everyone. Oh, so it was another one of those down to the wire mornings. So I hope everybody's well today. Morning. Oh, hey, Al and Vegan Sisters here and Mad Blender. Good morning. So just so you guys know, I was gonna make a smoothie today. I was gonna get some fresh foraged greens and make a smoothie, but instead I'm gonna try. Didn't work out so well the last time, but I'm gonna try eating some. I think these are apricots, uh, and I have a whole bowl of them. So I'm gonna try to get through all of them. But mm, not so good. But I'm gonna eat them hungry. Morning, Kearney. So I wasn't so good about letting everybody know what the topic was for today. At least the prepared discussion topic. So this video came out about Donald Trump, and I don't know if any of you saw it, but Donald Trump was apparently on a hot mic and said some pretty incendiary things that he didn't think of as incendiary. Let me see if I can pull it up. Yeah, he basically says if you're when you're a star you can do anything, and then he talks about some pretty. Hey, good morning, Mindy Cat, and welcome. And so he said some pretty incendiary things, talking about like when you're famous, you can just walk up to women and kiss them. You can, you know, grab them. And he mentioned, he used a, slang word for, women's genitals and talked about grabbing that. And, it was it was disturbing to say the least. 8 Mindy Cat 72 says, really, I can't imagine him being brash or boorish. Well, well, and also, ooh, I don't like apricots, and guess what? These wouldn't change mind. These wouldn't bring you around. But I got these actually. Sometimes I go to the grocery store and they have that. They have a shelf where the stuff that's about to get tossed out goes, and they sell it. And so I got a whole, like all of these, I got for $1. So you know, so yeah, chat it up. So I'm hoping that you guys are going to get up here. We're going to talk a little bit about. I would love to talk to you about the double standards that you may feel exist, and you may disagree that there are double standards. If a woman had been caught on tape saying that she can walk up to any man and grab his private parts because, she was famous and she's allowed to do that, what would the public think? Um, and we don't even have to guess, right? Because there are examples of women who have been open about their sexuality and the public has responded to it, and we can talk about those responses. We can also talk about people who are non-gender conforming, and are they allowed to speak in the same way that Trump spoke in terms of what he's entitled to do to anyone that he feels sexually excited by. And I think that that's what it comes down to, is that he's sexually excited by someone, so he goes up and he acts on that sexual excitement. And I, was just looking up because Van Jones. I hope that people got to watch a video. There's a 13-minute video by Van Jones where he basically says that what Donald Trump is describing It's not a question of his language being disturbing, but what Donald Trump is describing is sexual assault. And so I thought uh, it might also be useful to hear what sexual assault is. And so there is the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network. They're the nation's largest anti-sexual violence organization. They were named one of America's 100 best charities. And so I went to their website to find how they define sexual assault. Obviously, in legal terms, it can change depending on what state you live in, because I believe that the states set the laws around um, sexual assault. But according to Rain, and I will give you all a link to that website. I hope I'm being a good host because I haven't been reading what people said. Okay, so now I've put a link in the chat box. So yeah, Trump's disgusting. He seems like the boy next. Mindy Cat says he seems like the boy next door to me. Mad Blender says Trump is disgusting. And get in the queue, folks, because I really want to hear from. I want to hear from a lot of folks, and we can, maybe get people on for, maybe 10 minutes at a time, and have 4 or 5 guests. That would be awesome. So, Vegan Sister says, remember that female soccer player who got accused of domestic violence? People were outraged about her light punishment. Thanks, Vegan Sister. If you have any, if you can pull up any links about that people can check out, that would be great too. Because it would be nice if this conversation was also information sharing, so people could learn stuff from each other. Yeah, yeah, and Van Jones says this too. And I'm also interested in like what people thought. If people saw Van Jones, what they thought of Van Jones. Did they think he was exaggerating? So what the deal is? And so I am really excited. So first up, we got our first guest in the queue. I didn't even know you were in the room. This is Brian from Onion Night, and we're gonna just have you jump on because I'm thinking this is in your wheelhouse. We're talking politics here. Um, so if I'm lucky, any second, we're gonna have, hey, Brian,
Hi.
welcome back for another live broadcast. I hope everyone knows. Now,
Thank you.
Brian, I never say your last name because I'm always afraid that I'm gonna butcher it. Can you?
Hernandez.
It's Hernandez. Oh,
Yeah.
why? For some reason, I thought that because you're maybe something else shows up in your middle name. I think shows up in in
Yeah.
Facebook. Something that starts with an O.
Yeah.
That sounds like it would be a beautiful word, but okay.
Brian Ocasio Hernandez.
Ocasio. This is
Onion Knight
Brian
is
Ocasio.
fine. Just Onion Knight is fine.
This is Brian from the Onion Night, y'all. So, Brian, so
Yeah.
last week we were lucky enough to have you on here just talking about this, the awareness in the vegan community of uh, uh, Humane Party candidate who was a vegan and the running partner who was also a vegan, and the interest and your disappointment and the interest that you saw, particularly in the vegan community leading up to this election. And even at that time already this news had broken with Donald Trump and his um, hypersexual language, and the fact that people were saying, it's kind of locker room talk. What do you think about that? Or just what do you want to talk, what do you think about where things are in terms of the elections?
I mean, if the election was held today, Hillary Clinton would be the president. So there's that. I mean, it's for people who are, afraid of seeing a Donald Trump president. I'm not afraid of a Donald Trump presidency, but I know that there are many people that are. Um, so she's fine after the event with the hot mic
Hmm.
happened. she finally pulled away in double-digit numbers, which means that
Hmm.
she's out of the what do you call it? The margin of error.
Hmm.
So anything under 10%, yeah, it looks good for that person, but it could go either way once you vote. But beyond 10%, you're pretty much out of the weeds, and it's safe to say, okay, it looks like this person's going to be the president. But again, right after the grab them by the what, we had more leaks from WikiLeaks, so she lost a little bit of that momentum too. So now she's up by 6. Um, so it looks like she's gonna win, which I think makes a lot of people breathe a sigh of relief. But I think the bigger story on any of this is not that he said what he said. It's kind of a no-brainer that that's crazy and that's sexual assault, and who in the right mind would say something like that. The bigger story, I think, is that he didn't really lose that much. Like, people are still willing to vote for him. That's what's frightening. Not that, that a really privileged old man would. I don't think anyone's surprised, like someone was saying. Exactly, Minicat. That is terrifying. Um, that surprised that he would say something like that. Yes, he said that. Thank you, vegan sister. He said that he could shoot someone and people would still support him, and I tend to believe him. Like, he's not. He's he's a psychopath, but he's not incredibly stupid. He knows America. That's why he is where he is. He knows our country. Um,
Okay, I want to catch you up, Brian. I want to catch you. I want to catch you in a couple of things.
sure.
Um, you've said a few things that have blown my mind. The first thing that you said that blew my mind is that you're not afraid of a Donald Trump presidency. I want you to back that up. Why not?
Um, I mean, it's tough. I mean, I made a like talking about this subject for an hour extensively for 2 videos basically is why I don't fear a Donald Trump presidency. Um, what I would say is that, and I'm going to be brutally honest here, if Donald Trump wins his presidency, racists are going to be emboldened to violence. That's going to happen. If Donald Trump loses his presidency, guess what? Racists are going to be emboldened to violence. I think that, I mean, if you look at the news the other day, they just caught 3 guys that with a bunch of bombs and guns that were talking about they were going to start a race war and all this stuff like that. So beating Donald Trump in an election is not going to kill racism. It is not going to stop the violence that's coming. America is in the middle of a political revolution. That's what happens in the middle of a political revolution, is that, crazy people do crazy stuff. So there's that. Violence is going to come no matter what. But if the FBI is any indicator, right? I got you, Mindy Cat. You don't want him choosing a Supreme Court seat, but guess what? You think Hillary Clinton is not going to choose a conservative for the Supreme Court? Barack Obama is in there appointing Merrick Garland, who is extremely right wing. He didn't have to appoint Merrick Garland. He did, because that's who neoliberals are. They lean into the right. So another reason why I'm not afraid of a Donald Trump presidency is that you have his opponent holds a lot of the same policy positions that he does. Excuse me.
We get down in here. You can say he do.
I
Come
guess
on,
that he
come
do.
on, come on.
But so I mean, what is it? This is my question. Who are you voting for? Are you voting for Clinton?
Come on now. It's my show. I can't talk about that because
Well,
who
okay,
am I going to
okay,
fight with?
okay. Well, no,
How am I
okay.
going to
So
play
vegan.
devil's advocate? Yes, I'm going to
I
say
saw
yes.
vegan
Yes,
system. Okay.
yes.
So if you're voting for
I
Clinton,
am. I am
explain
going
to
to
me
vote for
what
Hillary.
is it? What is it that you think you're avoiding by that?
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't get down with the state at all.
Mm-hmm.
Really, not really. And I'm actually one of those people who would be inclined to say I'm not even participating. But I think that there are times when I don't want to see a Donald Trump as president in any way, shape, or form. I'm coming out and saying that. I don't want to see a Donald Trump as president. Not even by accident. Not even because people were so disillusioned that they didn't get out to the polls, and so he loses with only 15% of the country supporting him. I don't want to see that happen. I will go out and suck it up and participate in a system that I don't agree with in order to avoid seeing something. I just don't want to see it. And I think you're right. I don't think it's a question of Hillary Clinton being, the answer. I don't think Hillary Clinton is going to end racism. You know, a lot of people movement building diligently are going to end racism. So if it's going to happen at all, it's going to happen with, a lot of people working very hard to stop it, and it's something that's going to happen, on an international scale, really, on an international scale. But the short answer to the question is I'm going to vote for Hillary Clinton.
But again, my question was, what is it that you think you're avoiding?
What do I think I'm avoiding?
Yeah.
I'm going to be, this is terrible.
Because I know many people, those people are being emboldened to violence. Is that what you think you're avoiding? That you're not going to get violence if
No,
he
it's
loses?
not that. It's not that. It's just that I don't want for a day to have, I wouldn't mind for a day to have Hillary Clinton rooting around in there, first of all, being the spokesperson for the country, just this being the spokesperson for the country.
Mhm.
Donald Trump really getting up and being the spokesperson for the country, even for a day. I don't want to hear that inaugural speech. You know what I'm saying? So it really comes down to, image for me. What is the image of this country that I would like to see projected to the rest of the world? And I would much rather see one that is in some ways moving beyond, this sexist idea that a woman can't be president. So there's a moment to be captured in that. And also, Hillary's rhetoric I appreciate more, although her actions to back up that rhetoric have been disappointing. I hope that answers your question more clearly. But I'm not here to do all the talking. I called you up here because I want to hear what you
Well,
think.
all right. So this is not an. I hope they will buy all the White House women some pepper spray. Says Minnie.
Mindy Cat, I've never met you before. I think might be your first time dropping in, and you're hilarious. I hope that you come on and guest so that we can hear a little bit more of your voice. Um,
Mad Blender is saying, how is he going to be able to deal with foreign leaders? He won't. He's he would be a disaster with foreign leaders. But guess how Hillary Clinton's going to deal with foreign leaders? She's going to be a disaster with foreign leaders. Reg, you talked about this on your channel. She's aiming for a war with Russia. We're gonna go. We're getting into World War III. Is what the world is being primed for when the on the right you've got a guy who will essentially tell foreign leaders, "You're fired," as if he's on a reality show, or try to grab their genitals. And then another foreign leader who is so, I'm sorry, the other on the left, who is so embedded in corporate America, that she's willing to send the world not only into the Iraq War, which is like the worst foreign policy blunder in U.S. history, but essentially is dying to start a war with Russia. And if you think that doesn't have implications that are great, then I mean, you're wrong. Like that's not a good place for us to be in. It looks like that's exactly where we're going. And I don't know that voting for neoliberalism is necessarily the answer. I think we do need to show our support for third parties to show them that, look, if you're serious about being elected, we have to stop all the foolishness. We have to stop. We can't afford it anymore. Like Jill Stein said in her recent interview on the Young Turks, we're on a clock here. We're on a clock here, and she was right. I disagree with Jill Stein on some things, but on that I agree. She's right. We don't have time for it anymore. But that's where we're headed. It looks like she's gonna win, and I can only hope that she is willing to answer that question. Because when they asked her, "Hey, what are you gonna do when you impose a no-fly zone over Syria?" Crickets. So basically, that's, oh, we're willing to shoot down Russian jets. This is not a good place that the world is going to right now. So yeah, it looks like as of right now we'll avoid a Donald Trump presidency, but I just don't know that we're in a much better place because of it.
So, Brian, there's so much. There's so much to dig into. I don't think we can bite it off in one. I hope you'll keep coming back. We have what do we have? Two more Sundays before the election, and I hope that we'll have you back to talk a little bit more about this, and maybe we'll have maybe watch some either some debate highlights, or we'll have something that we can share with everyone else so that we can have a lively discussion that maybe includes everyone, specifically on politics. I do appreciate your breadth of knowledge on the subject, and for bringing us some pretty, I'm gonna say, not shocking as much as, really thought-provoking ideas about this election and the effects of having either one of these candidates in the White House. So thank you, Brian.
Let me just say before I
Yeah,
go,
come on, come on.
anyone that doesn't know, check out my videos, Voting Vegan Part 1 and 2. And then also, I meant to point out, and I didn't in those videos, there's a guy in Utah named Evan McMullen who's actually beating Trump and in some polls beating Clinton in Utah. So it's a possibility that the state of Utah does not go to Clinton or Trump. That's where we're at in America. So people should understand that the two-party system at this point is so broken that any random Mormon guy running in Utah can actually beat Hillary Clinton. That tells you what is in store for us in the 2020 election. So when you look at those Voting Vegan videos, be fully aware of where we're going as a country in terms of getting a third-party non-politician into the Oval Office.
Thanks, Brian.
All right.
All right. Bye now. So that was a lot. And I'm really burning to find out what all of you are thinking about what Brian had to say about the election. If you're interested in getting up and talking about who you're voting for, I'm loving. I wish I knew more about YouNow, but all I have to say is thank you, Plant Style, for all of the beautiful little icons that keep appearing in the chat from you. We got Just Glowing Me here. We got Mad Blender. We got Big Screen Bird, Vegan Sister. Who else is here? Kearney is here. We got a lot of people, and I'd love to get some folks up to hear your thoughts. Any reactions to what Brian had to say? Any reactions to the Donald Trump? Is Donald Trump, a sexual assaultant? Let's hear from you guys. Okay. Well, I mean, you're in Canada. Kearney says, I'm in Canada, so I'm relatively safe from all of this. LOL. You're pretty close, though. So if something goes down in the US, I think you might feel the burn. You might feel the burn in Quebec. I'm just saying. So come on, who's up? Don't leave me here all by myself. one thing I want to do, thanks to everyone who has supported my GoFundMe campaign. You guys may know I kicked off a GoFundMe campaign yesterday to winterize the house. Hey, Cali Boy G. So I kicked off a campaign yesterday. We're trying to get the house ready for winter. It's already cold. So I know I'm wearing this t-shirt right now, but I have a corduroy shirt. I don't know if you can see it, that I was ready to throw on, but I barely made it out of the shower in time to get here. So I'm trying to let myself dry off a little bit. How long is the campaign running for? I'll probably keep it up, but I'd love to hit that mark by the end of October. And I'll talk about it, I'll be talking about it during the updates. But basically, it's about installing windows uh, and insulating them because the house is wide open right now. I mean, Kearney was here and knows that the house was basically a giant screened-in porch all summer, and so now it's trying to get time to get some of that stuff closed up. And there's also Detroit has had a real bad flooding problem, and I'm not sure what it's about. It may be that with well, they've been adding to the system, and that may be affecting things. It may just be that the system is old and broken down, and they've not been maintaining it. So as things have been rupturing, it's been allowed to get worse and worse. And so I don't know if you saw if you watch the video, there's some news clips, but you can just Google flooding in Detroit, and you can see news stories about that. And they do have a hotline if you do have flooding or you do have a sewage backup problem, and that's what it is. It's a sewage backup problem. And so mitigating that is going to be part of the campaign. And then I have a field next to my house that it's just a big empty field, and I've been letting a group who called Grapeseed Detroit, and they've planted a vineyard that's in its second year now. And I haven't been charging them for the use of the lot, but I do have to pay taxes on it, and the taxes, they do add up. And so I'm adding the taxes as part of it. And then also keeping the entire house warm is really, really expensive. And so I've put some in there to cover a portion of the utilities for the public parts of the house. And, I basically live in this room that you guys see here, and then there's another room downstairs. So I have a fairly small footprint in the house, but the house itself is really large and gets used for a lot of community events, and also generally by people who are part of the national social justice movement, including folks from St. Louis who've been here now twice as part of some national gatherings that they've hosted and had located in the house. So I've got a guest up. Excellent. Let's see who we got. We got Plant Style. Hey, Plant Style. So while Plant Style is coming up, please do.
I didn't know. You popped me on right now. I was just dropping my son off at the
Oh,
babysitter.
hey, how are you?
I'm doing
And
really good.
welcome.
Beautiful sunny day here in Monterey.
So this is
Where are
our
you
first.
from?
What's that? You're in Monterey?
Yeah, I live in Seaside, but I work in Monterey. I just dropped my son off at
Oh,
so
so welcome
have you
to
been out here before?
welcome to the live stream. So I'm in Detroit.
Oh, Detroit.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And I'm broadcasting out of a space that I've been developing here called Alt Space Detroit. That's it's an incubator for sustainability projects. Provides solidarity housing, and it's a vegan safe space. So it's a place that if you are vegan and you want to go someplace where you don't have to even worry about seeing or smelling those smells that sometimes you smell when you go places, this is the place. So
Yeah.
So welcome. First of all, how'd you hear about what made you join us today for the live stream?
Well, I always try to catch you because I actually know you from your YouTube channel, and then when I saw you were on YouNow, I was so excited. And then whenever I see you on, I try to get on, but I always miss you. And then you just happen to be on right now, and you guys are talking about some really cool stuff, and you're saying, "Come on, I want to talk to people." I was like, "Heck yeah, I want to get on." So that's why I'm here, you know. I think it's important to talk about this stuff. You know, a lot of the vegans on here are talking about, you know, drama and bullshit, and they're not really focusing on the important things that are going on right now. Like this election is super critical, especially for people like us, you know. We have
Mhm.
to think about this stuff. If we want to see any change, we have to, like, you know, understand who's being elected right now and what their, you know, goals for the future are, and how we play a role in that, what we're going to do about it. You know, are we just going to sit by and like let them do what they want and keep things, you know, the same pro quo? Are we going to like take action and stand up and actually do what we're supposed to do as citizens, which is question the government? You know, we always complain about who's our elected leader, but the point is, like, if we don't do our part, if we don't question them, if we don't make them accountable for their actions, then they're just going to keep doing the same thing. You know, nothing's going to change.
So what are you doing to help the shift one way or other? Is there something that you do? Um, are you engaged in? Are you an activist? Do you
I've
just talk to
been
family and friends? Come on.
I've been one in the past, but really, like, you know, being a single parent and working full time, um, and just kind of doing a lot of things off the grid kind of makes things like centered around just the daily life. But right now, I've kind of tried to fit in daily streams, and I do try to have like conversations like what you're having right now. Just, you know, open discussions. Doesn't matter if you're vegan or not. Just talking about important issues, things that are concerning people, and that's just kind of my level of activism right now. I do sign petitions whenever I can. I'm a firm believer in petitions. You know, if you can do something, you know, why not sign a petition? If you can't get out there and protest, or, you know, go to City Hall and attend meetings and, you know, speak your mind to the actual politicians, then at least signing things shows. And then also, I believe in the vote of the dollar. You know, you just always got to buy things that meet your values, and that affects change as well. So it's a small change, but I feel like it makes a difference, you know, in my community, which is what people should be, you know, concerned about. Like, sometimes I think we get overwhelmed with the global issues at hand, and then that can just totally depress us and deter us from taking action at all, because it's like, oh, I'm just a little old me. Like, what am I going to be doing
Mhm.
to impact the world? Like, I should just let it happen, you know, and just focus on my life, because my life is all that matters. But you know, it's more than just that. Your life impacts the lives of others, and if you don't, you know, take hold of your life in a positive way, then, you know, you're just creating more negativity. So I just do the little bit that I can. I focus on that, and if I can do more, I'll do more. You know, if I can help a homeless person, I'll help a homeless person. If I can, you know, go to a protest, or, you know, help out a potluck or co-op or whatever. But it's simple stuff. Like, I really am busy, but I feel like I'm making a little strides with the streams. I've had some good conversations with people who are really curious about veganism and whatnot, and we actually did talk about the election, and that was kind of an interesting discussion.
Uh-huh.
You know, he seemed a little bit more on the side of Trump, which I understand, and I get his skepticism of Hillary. I think I have those skepticism too. I think everybody does, but I think we all can agree that she is going to be pretty much elected, and that we would all be seriously screwed very quickly if Trump became president.
You're not on the same page.
I don't,
You're not on the
huh?
same you're not on the same page with Brian, who says basically we're in the fire, we're out of the frying pan and in the fire, whoever's elected. You don't agree with him. You do think that there's a better option between the two.
Because that's what I was trying to say. It doesn't matter if it's Hillary or Trump. I mean, I'm just saying that, I mean, it kind of does, because Trump, like, absolutely wouldn't listen. But at the same time, he's got a lot of politicians against him. So if we as a people were to come together with those politicians, like I wouldn't be surprised the dude got impeached. Like he just wouldn't last long, but he would screw shit up very quickly.
Uh-huh.
But with Hillary, even though there's like, concerns about just like backdoor deals or just whether drones are going to be used and all that stuff.
Right.
I mean, I just look at her past, I look at how things were, and just where she's going now. And I feel like she's the kind of person that will listen. She's the kind of person that wants to talk. She's the kind of person that will meet with people from anywhere and just come to their understanding. She's a rational person. She takes her time when she's talking. She doesn't just blurt things out. And in the world that we live in, in the digital world, tweeting, like the way he says things online, it's astonishing that he hasn't already gotten himself into trouble or gotten killed or tried to be assassinated. Like, I just don't think that it would be a better step in the right direction. I think we would have at least some sliver of a chance with her, And I
Yes.
know the same thing could have been said with Obama, but at the same time, I don't feel like he totally screwed shit up. I felt like he was given a huge mess to deal with. He didn't have enough time to fix it, but at the same time, he's being taught by the same people that Bush was taught by, and he just made choices that seem like the right course of action at hand. I don't agree with the drones. I don't agree with the strikes. I don't agree with, the special ops missions, but some missions, obviously the Osama one was a critical one, but there's a lot that nobody even knows about, and we don't even know if they're really terrorists or not. Like
Right.
the Patriot Act. I want to see the Patriot Act completely dismantled. There's a lot of shit that is set up for any president to be corrupt. So that's what I was just trying to say. It doesn't matter who we elect. It just matters what we do as citizens to fix it, The
Right.
system will stay the same as long as we allow it to stay the same.
Right.
That's why it's, huh?
It sounds like you're saying that the real work isn't the politicians, the real work is our work.
Oh yeah, we're super lazy right now. We're just sitting back and we're expecting them to fix everything for us. Like we're just a bunch of crybabies like, "Oh, fix it." You know? But
Yep.
we forget, like, the system was set up for the people to take action. That was the whole point of the American Revolution, is the people stood up and took action and took control of the government, you know? But we don't do that because we're afraid, they make us fearful of protesting. If you protest anything, they, try to round you up and make you disperse, leave.
Right.
This is private property when it's not private property. Like a couple days ago, I saw on TYT, like some actress or something like that who was protesting fracking in Canada or whatever, or maybe like somewhere in New York or something. No, I think it was Pennsylvania. Uh, she was arrested and they did a legal strip search of her, and she was just like, oh my God, how could they do this to me? I was just protesting, I was just, doing what's right as an American. Fracking, is bad, and I was just speaking my mind. Why should I be illegally strip searched? Like, that's like
Right.
super invasion of privacy. Like, I had nothing on me. I was just peacefully protesting. But the way the Patriot Act is set up is they can do that to anybody who they deem, suspicious or, a threat to society.
Right.
And even even animal rights activists, like, I don't know if a lot of vegans know this, but we are considered terrorists. We are considered a threat, and we're on the FBI watch list. Like, they watch animal rights activists extremely, and a
Wow.
lot of them that do, break into labs and stuff like that, they're arrested, and they get arrested for a long time. Their trials are very long and expensive, and I just know that it's the way it's set up is the people have kind of fallen into the trap of like thinking that their power is useless when really like the government is afraid of you, and you have to just not be afraid of them.
Okay, cool. So plant style, you've said a lot of amazing things that I feel like could lead to some more discussion. We had someone else in the queue
Oh yeah,
to
that's okay.
guest. We had somebody in the queue to guest, and I'm hoping that we can hear from at least one more perspective before
Yeah,
we
yeah,
go.
yeah,
We have
yeah.
about 20 minutes, and I also hope that
Mhm.
you'll come back and join us for future chats. So you have any last words before you go, Plant Style?
Oh no, just thank you so much for having me on. I would definitely like to come and join you again soon. If you'd like, you can fan me. I do yoga streams, chill streams, and cooking streams at night. And even in any one of those streams, I'm very open for discussion, guesting. You could come on, meat eater, vegan, whatever. Speak your mind, ask some questions, invite your friends, and definitely I will see you again. And I really appreciate this opportunity to talk. I think what you're doing is good, even if it's just one day a week, it's still better than a lot of the other vegan YouTubers on here.
Thank you so much. All right now.
All right. You have a great
Yeah.
night or a great day. Bye.
Nice. Wow, we got a new friend. Plant Plant Style. So definitely going to be becoming a fan of Plant Style and checking out some of those streams. I hope that you guys will too. Thanks for the thumbs up, Veg Mex. So let's see who else. Come on, who's going to jump in here? We got somebody's going to jump in and supply some and provide us with a little more feedback on our topics today. You guys know I'm happy to just keep chatting about stuff. There's something that I meant to talk about in one of my more recent videos, and now it escapes me. I think also I really want to know what you guys think about the general public and oh yes, Vegan Sister says, I'm afraid the teacher is about to call on us because we are not guesting, and I definitely would call on people. And in fact, I know for a fact, I don't mean to call anybody else out, but Mad Blender was in the queue for a second. Let me see who's in the queue now. Okay, Mad Blender's back in the queue. We're gonna hear from Mad Blender. Our next person up in live. Oh, hey.
Hey, what's up?
Welcome back. Welcome back, friend.
Thanks for having me. What's up?
So, you've been listening
I have been listening, yes.
to the podcast. What's on your
There's
mind?
a lot that's been talked about.
Come on.
Okay, all right. So here's my thoughts on the election, first of all. So I live in a swing state. I live in Pennsylvania. Where did you say you live?
I'm in Detroit, Michigan, but I'm from
Okay.
Pennsylvania.
Oh,
And
that's right.
what's so funny is I've been thinking about you, and I've been thinking there's some Philly. I sense some Philly.
Oh yeah, yeah. I live. It's about a 2-hour drive to Philly, but I have been to Philly many a times. I
There's
live Scranton area.
okay,
Yep.
okay. But there's something like a PA, like our accent. We have that little bit of
Yes.
time. I mean, I used to, and then I went to Yale School of Drama.
Did you really?
And then
No.
no, I did, but my accent, my dialect has changed a lot from working on dialects, and I keep promising that I'm going to do a video on dialects and all of that stuff like that. But I definitely felt some of that homegirl.
I feel the connection.
So come on now, we're
All right.
talking
All
about
right.
swing state.
Okay. So I feel like after doing like a bit of research and looking into it, like I feel like for me, I really feel like I just can't be a part of letting Trump become president. So I'm going to vote for Hillary. But I feel like if you don't live in a swing state, then it is a good idea to vote third party, because from what I've read, if third parties, like say 5% of the people voting in if in any state voted, say, for the Humane Party, then they would be guaranteed ballot access for the next election and given something like $10 million towards their campaign. I heard Jill Stein talking about that on Democracy Now! The other day, too. So I feel like if you don't live in a swing state, it's most likely going to go towards either Democrat or Republican, whatever way it normally goes. So if you're thinking about voting third party, vote third party. However, I live in a swing state, so I'll be voting for Hillary Clinton because there's no chance in hell for me to. Even if Brian's right in saying that it's going to be bad either way, which I agree, I think it'll be worse with Trump. Even just from I feel like it would tell America that it's okay for people to be racist and sexist, and putting him in that position of power. I don't know. I just feel like I feel like him in general, the fact that he's gotten this far has given people permission to be more openly prejudicial. And I just think Hillary at least has herself composed a little better, and just at least knows what's going on, and just I don't feel that threat from her in that same way. Do you know what I mean? So that's my thoughts on that. And am I okay? And then also, am I still here? Okay.
You're there.
Okay. And then my thoughts. Oh yeah, so that's my thoughts. And going back to what we were talking about before about what's his name? Van Jones. I really liked how he was talking about too, if Hillary Clinton or Obama had, when Obama was being vetted for president or whatever, he had to be perfect. He had to, if anything like this had come up against him, there would be no chance in hell that he could possibly been president. Same with Hillary Clinton. If she had said any of the things that Donald Trump had said, or had, for God's sakes, grabbed somebody in the crotch, there's no way she would be an acceptable candidate right now. Trump is getting away with things that have never before been acceptable, and it's scary. That is just scary to me on so many levels. So those are my thoughts.
Yeah. It's interesting because I do, there is this sense that, it's a double-edged sword because the fact that people are being so open in expressing racist ideology. I don't want to say that people are racist, but I think that there has been a racist ideology in America that has been unspoken.
Yes.
We don't talk about it. We just we know that, we know who's in charge. We know what's preferred. We know who's obsolete and who we'd like to see gone, who we'd like to see gone. But we don't talk about those things. We haven't been talking about those things. And I wouldn't actually be surprised if the Obama election and the 8 years of Obama in some ways have helped bring some of this to the fore as well. Because you have people who we lost Mad Blender, and if you pop back in, Mad Blender, I'll bring you back on to see if there's anything else you wanted to say. But just this idea that having an African American, even if he's half, African American, like you can be half, right? It's what it is, right? And people look at him, and the image that he projects is of a person who would be considered African American. So with that in mind, people who haven't been able to resolve their acceptance of certain racist ideologies with the fact that the president is brown, I'm sure that has had an effect and might be in part why we have Donald Trump. It might be why we have a Donald Trump as a reaction to uh, an Obama presidency, an 8-year Obama presidency. So I'd love to know what people think about that. I'm going to check and see what's going on in the. Oh Lord. Okay. So it looks like Brian is ready to come back on. Something has given Brian a reason to come back, and I'm going to welcome him back. He wouldn't be back here unless he had something really important to say. So Brian, we're bringing you back, and we have about 5 minutes left. So we're gonna have you close out the session.
Yeah. So, um, I was listening to what Matt Blinder was saying, and also what you were saying there, Reg, and I think both of you are absolutely right. But the thing that I think people need to understand is that they need to look ahead to the future. So what's going on right now is that the racist culture in America, because like what Reg is saying, because of an 8-year of a president that does not look like them, that they do not see themselves in, has brought back that mentalities from the 50s. And what we're looking at in the 2020 election is going to be a Hillary Clinton that for the last 4 years we're not going to hear anything about what she's doing or what her plans are. All we're going to hear about is all that information that was leaked out in the WikiLeaks. Okay, so all we're going to hear is damaging and beating down Hillary Clinton for the next 4 years. And this is the scary part, is that in 2020, you're going to have a Republican run against her that is not damaged, that does not grab women by the crotch, that is not talking about dating 10-year-old girls. And for us to fool ourselves into thinking that any other of those Republican candidates is any different than Trump, other than the fact that they don't say that stuff out loud, that's problematic. That's who they are. They are Donald Trump. He perfectly represents them. If there's anything that you take away from this election, it should be that. So the much more dangerous proposition is having a Donald Trump that does not appear to have those flaws. Because guess what? He's going to beat the shit out of Hillary Clinton in 2020. Your Ted Cruz's of the world, your Marco Rubio's, they are just as right-wing, they are just as crazy and lunatic as Donald Trump, but they don't appear that way. And Hillary Clinton is so damaged that she can't beat a psychopath that's talking about molesting 10-year-old girls. We need to take that into consideration when we vote. There's an opportunity for a power grab in America. And what's happening is, I believe it's something like 72 to 74% of uneducated white male voters. That's where Donald Trump gets his support. He's emboldened those people to grab that seat of power. Now, luckily, it looks like they won't be successful, but we need to consider for the 2020 election, there's incredibly weakened candidates here, and if we're smart about it, we can get someone that actually represents our interests to snatch that seat of power. So just know that about this election and the 2020 election is all I needed to add.
So Brian, just one last question. How do we prepare for that? What can we be doing now to get ready for 2020? And what kind of, and I'm going to say grassroots movement building could be starting now to help get us ready for 2020?
That's a
If you have
really good question.
How about that? Could you maybe that to come back next week? We can talk about that next week.
We can do that, yeah.
Okay, that is great. All right, so we're at the end of our session. Thank you, Brian.
That's a really good
Wait,
question.
stop. Wait, something happened. Oh, I'm sorry. I did something. Brian, I lost Brian. I think he was going. Something came up. I clicked something weird. But Brian, thank you. We'll see you again next week. Everyone, there's so much to think about, right? There's so much to think about. And it really goes beyond, I mean, we get into these conversations about politics once every 4 years, right? And in between, what are we doing? What are we doing to transform the world we live in? Even, starting with ourselves and breaking out of that dominant culture mode of thinking that we exist in, that they have all the answers, that we are powerless, that we are given a menu to select from. And as a vegan, and I know many of you are vegans, when I use the word given a menu to eat from with nothing on it that we want to eat, that might resonate especially deeply. But in terms of the politics that were offered, I believe it's equally an unsatisfying selection. Um, so cool. Yeah, thanks. And I want to thank a bunch of folks. So Tofu Tommy showed up. Thank you. And VegMex, thanks for the likes. Vegan Sister, thanks for the likes. Thank you all so much for joining us. Um, and that is it for this live stream. Those of you watching on YouTube, like it if you like it, share it, comment, subscribe. Join me next week, Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for another live stream. And I'll be notifying you guys in my next update of what the topic of that conversation will be. We'll likely be talking politics again. Um, This is Reg signing off. Love yourself. Peace.